bit because I gotta get the blood flowing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get the you gotta get the blood flowing. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, sisters, listen. Man, we are in the era right now. The name of the show is "Are We Ready for Armageddon?" And what exactly is Armageddon? You feel me? So I mean, we're gonna take you on a ride. I got a special guest in the building. I'm gonna try to get the brother on the panel more often. I've been checking the brother out. I've been trying to get him on the panel multiple times. Something always came up, but we got the brother here today. We are going to discuss a topic that we're going to bring into today. See, we ain't going to talk about this old spooky mystery stuff. We're going to talk about something that we are going to bring today. Period, point blank. But before we get there, let me do this. I want to give y'all an update real quick. I got to give y'all an update. Hope my guests can be patient for a second because I got to give y'all an update. Okay. So as y'all know, I went to the HOK Unity demonstration. I'm pretty sure that everybody in here seen the video that I posted. Me and Sinetta pieced it up, as if you will, and we move forward. But now I want those who are watching to know that although me and Sinetta decided not to go at each other for the sake of the platforms and what he's doing, et cetera, that doesn't mean that somebody that, let me say it like this. Say, for instance, Brother Polite. Shout out to Brother Polite. I like my Brother Polite. That's my brother without a doubt. But you know and I know that some of the things that Brother Polite does is not considered what we would consider typical consciousness. It just is what it is. Do I have anything against Polite? No, I don't. Because one thing about me being a Moorish American, this tassel means 360 degrees. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and freedom. So I think a person is free to do whatever they want to do. However, I still have the ability and the liberty to comment on it. It is what it is. So when you look at this video that I just played, right, and you see the clip where Brother Polite is in a strip club with presumably a European woman rubbing on his wife. Now, I seen a video, you know, the police guy, he made a video in response to that. But let me tell the police guy one thing. I actually got that video from Polite. He posted the video. So let's be clear. Let's be clear. And then the police guy keep coming to Guy's defense. It sounds a little weird to me, but I'm not going to respond to the police guy. That's just something I'm not going to do. From this point on, we're going to teach the people. I'm not going to respond to the police guy right now. Let me say this. Right now. I got bigger fish to fry. And I'm not going to, look, I'm up here, the police guy's down here. He got to catch up. I've got time to play with the police right now. I mean, in fact, I never got time to play with the police, but I will put them back in place. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the problem is this. Polite has my number. He can call me anytime he wants to. Sinetta has my number. He can call me anytime he wants to. But I didn't make a shot at Polite. I didn't make a shot at Sinetta. I just expressed what I seen. He put up the video. It is what it is. So if he made the video public, I'm not putting up something secret. You know what I mean? I'm not putting up something that I snuck and recorded them. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, family. So I just want everybody to know that there is no conflict between me and HOK. Sinetta has kept his side of the bargain, and I'm going to keep my side of the bargain of the peace treaty. You know what I'm saying? If you will. But now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to say nothing about Shaka. When I walked in the building, shout out to Shaka. And y'all see me in the picture on Facebook shaking Shaka Atmo's hand. When I walk in the building, Shaka Atmo say, baby, with the fans. Take that personal. We shake hands and took a picture. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep it going. Hey, so we're going to keep it going. But I just want the police know that I seen your video. You're thirsty. You're thirsty, police. What you need to do is go to Dunkin' Donuts, get yourself a cup of coffee, and leave us alone. You're thirsty. We ain't messing with you. I mean, one thing I had a big problem with way back. I used to be in back of that police car. It was a long time ago. I ain't like talking to that police in back of that car. I be sitting back there like this, man, just take me to the commissioner, man. Man, stop talking all this talk to me, man. So I don't really talk to the police. That's just not my thing. Now, if we got a police that is on our side, which means that he can point us to the direction to do something in our community, then we can talk to him. But the one that want to start some trouble, the one that want to keep stuff going, want to come to defense to men that ain't even coming to defense for themselves, we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone. Shout out to my man, Big Wolf in the building. Man, shout out to 300 Gangsters. We're gonna have the interview with 300 Gangsters this week. A Big Wolf and 300 Gangsters, PFK Boom. They just came back from Chicago. If I'm not mistaken, they went to Mars Mariam, and we're going to talk about it on my interview this week with 300 Gangsters. I see them shining up there with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Brother, you doing big things. And the thing is, the brother sitting up there shining with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with his rag on his head. Can I call it a rag? You know, your flag, my fault. It's called a flag. It's called a flag. You was up there with your flag on, flagging with the minister. Salute, brother. Do your thing, brother. You know I support you and all that you do in the streets, brother. And all I am is a phone call away. But let me just move on with the show. So I gave y'all an update, brother. That's my guy, man. I can't wait till the 300 Gangsters come on the platform this week. It's going to be a treat. I want y'all to stay for alerts, because look out for the alerts, because I'm telling you, this is going to be a good show. Man, these are some working Moors. I'm calling them Moors because they be wearing red, right? Real quick. I'm ready to get the show. They be wearing red, right? And they call that flag. Man, that's that Moorish color, man. Go ahead with that. Go ahead with that, Wolf. Talking about smooth woo. Man, you Moorish. How about that? Man, Big Wolf he gonna turn that flag. You see? I'm gonna leave it like that. Anyway, shout out to 300 Gangsters, PFK Boom, everybody that's doing the work in the community. Salute, family. So with that, let's get to the show. And I want y'all to carry the message for me, because we're going to talk about this Armageddon. And 300 Gangsters, they are a part of this Armageddon thing, because these brothers put work in on the ground, and they are willing to confront any and everybody if they jump outside, or as they say in the street, if they get out of pocket. Let's put it like that. So let's go. Woo! Let me give you a shout out, man. Collective Mind, shout out. Triple Moore, shout out. Jerry Collar, shout out. D-Red, the Blue Scholar, shout out. Hey, D-Red, you know that was only the battle. The war is yet to come. We ain't finished yet, D-Red. Watch how I move. But in the words of Sinetta, I play chess, not checkers. Watch how I move. You feel me? What up? So here we go. First and foremost, I rise. I give praise to the great God of the universe, Allah. And when I say Allah, I'm speaking about the infinite being. I'm talking about the one that woke you up. You feel what I'm saying? You know the one woke you. You ain't wake yourself up. That little alarm clock ain't do nothing for you. You see, because your eardrums that vibrated when you heard the alarm clock came from somewhere. You see, your brain to comprehend the noise, or even if you don't even alarm clock, that wake up that just woke you up. That thing right there, that source of life right there, that woke you up this morning. I give praise to that source of life in the Most High of America. We refer to as Allah. We not talking about no moon god, no Arab god, and all that old wicked foolishness y'all talk about. I give honor to his noble, illustrious prophet. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm telling you, people want to know why I'm so excited. Listen, this man right here, real talk. Y'all can say somebody praising the man. That ain't what I get. That ain't what I do. This man right here, the sharpest wisest brother that I've ever laid eyes on as it relates to the work. I'm telling you, and I'm going to do my best to teach it in such a comprehensive way that most of those that will come, most of them that will come will stay. Because we know all like to turn back sometimes. But I'm going to teach it in such a comprehensive way, and we're going to take it around the country. I'm telling you, I got the virtual temple coming, and within the virtual temple, we'll get into that after the show. But let my brother come in the building. I know I've been taking a little long. I'm a little long-winded. But with that, let my honorable brother, Billy Dennermill, come in the building, introduce himself, and let's talk about this topic. Are we ready for Armageddon? Are you ready? Now, Billy, are you there, my brother? Okay, you have to hit your mute button because I put you on mute. So I won't cut into your talk. So unmute yourself, and then you come right on in. Now, this brother here is a pretty sharp brother. Islam, I can hear you very well. You just closed it back up. I can hear you very well, but you just locked it back in. I think you just muted yourself again.
Let me see.
There you go. There you go, right there. So I'm gonna let the brother introduce himself, and then for those who've been under the rock and have not seen his videos that he live streamed, for those who haven't seen his YouTube channel, he'll introduce himself, and then we're gonna get in the topic. I'm gonna ask him a series of questions, and then we're gonna build on the topic of are we ready for Armageddon? And maybe the first question is, what is Armageddon? And we're gonna start from there. So Billy, introduce yourself to the Moorish World TV audience. Let's go, family. We good.
Islamism. It's your brother Billy Dennermill. You know, just here to build with the brother Taharka Bey, and we're going to discuss this particular topic this evening. But before we get anything started, I ascend above the cares of the world, giving all praise to Allah and our holy and divine prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
So brother, this show here is a pretty much. I try to keep this show a pretty much fast-paced show because, hey, family, no disrespect, family, but you know we in the ADHD era.
Indeed.
So I try to keep the show fast. This is not like them other shows that be into tribal warfare. We not into y'all caught that one. Don't worry on that. But the point of the matter is, I keep the show, try to keep it going fast because we're in the ADHD era where everybody probably need fidget spinners. They need fidget spinners. So what we're going to do is, brother, first question, brother, to you. And I want to expound on it too because I have understanding of this era that we in of Armageddon. I think we're in the era of Armageddon. From your point of view and perspective, brother, what is Armageddon?
Well, from the historical perspective, first of all, you know what I'm saying, when you do the knowledge, Armageddon is the word is used in the book of Revelations. And that it particularly discusses Armageddon as being a place where armies gathered for a final war. You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from that particular historical paradigm of the word Armageddon. But itself, right now, as we speak, we are sitting in the form of Armageddon. I have to agree with you on that, brother, that we are sitting in the form of a manifestation of Armageddon due to the fact that, we are undergoing a current wrath, and we've been undergoing a particular wrath for some time. And that has to be discussed exactly what this wrath is in relation to, you know what I'm saying, what we may be discussing is Armageddon.
Exactly. So I'm going to build on you with this for a second. Let me tell y'all, first of all, family, if you want to check out my brother, his name is Denim Hawk L. You can check him out on YouTube, on Facebook, but I'm going to screenshot real quick. This is what his Facebook page looked like before we get into the build. I'll go there and subscribe, and you're going to get plenty of information. The brother got plenty of builds on there. Go in there, subscribe, and check the brother out. You know, he may say something that save your life. Anyway, so when I look at Armageddon, right, when we look at it from different perspectives, as my brother Dennermill said, from a historical point of view, it was a place where people met up, where people were said to be meeting up. sometime in the future for war. The good against the evil. And Armageddon is actually a place, according to the Bible. According to the Bible, it's mentioned in the book of Revelation, if I'm not mistaken, verse 16:16. In the book of Revelation, it talks about people meeting up at a place, and they're going to sort out their differences right there. Let me see if I can get the Revelation 16:16. I want to pull it up.
Yeah, the place is called Armageddon.
There we go. There we go.
That's the name, yeah, that's the name of the land. That's Armageddon.
I'm going to pull it up, and this is what they say. This is see, I think a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you why they do it. Now, here we go. And I'm just grabbing anyone because I don't trust the Bible completely, so anyone is good for me. It says, then they gathered the kings together to a place that was in Hebrew is called Armageddon. So it actually was a place that they're referring to. But if you go along and read, I'm going to go down and read a little more. Oh, no, I don't want to read that. What I wanted to say is this. When you do the research of the place that is called Armageddon, and I think my brother called it Megiddo. When you do the research on the place of Megiddo, you read the scripture, and the scripture of the Bible talks about that the battle was going to be on the hills of Megiddo. You familiar with that?
Armageddon, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so it said the battle was going to be on the hills. But the problem with that, my brother, is that my research, and I don't have the reference right now, but I asked you to research what I'm saying. The area that we're talking about, and I'm going to put in the chat real quick, the area that we're talking about is, if I'm not mistaken, is in Iraq. And
yeah, but you know, the thing is that it's prophetic.
That's what I was about to say.
People busy looking in the Middle East for the revelation to that particular revelation to occur or whatever, but it's actually occurring right here.
This is what I was about to say. When you look at the place in Iraq, and my research is spelled Megiddo. Megiddo.
Yeah, Megiddo. Yeah.
Megiddo.
That's what I said.
And it's the present day. I'm sorry, the present day Haifa in Israel. I'm looking at my notes. In Israel. However, they said the battle that is going to happen there is going to be on the hills of Israel, of Haifa in Israel. However, there are no hills there. There's flat surface. It's a plain.
Yeah.
There are no hills. So getting to your point, my brother, getting to your point, the prophetic part of it is that if they talking about Megiddo, as my brothers pronounced it, Megiddo, and it tells that the battle going to be on the hills there, but there is no hills there. What are we talking about? Brother, you want to build on that for a minute?
Oh, indeed. You know, the book of Revelation was a book of prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all of that prophecy and all of those places, actually, when you study that particular Armageddon or Armageddon area, it's really actually that they point to is actually not even a mountain. It's basically a little mound. But in the reality is that is talking about in another time, in another location, that particular war or that particular place where these tribes will meet up at. The place is symbolic.
Yes.
It's symbolic to another time period, another people in another condition, which will be inflicted upon those people due to their own ignorance, because they perish for lack of knowledge, because they chose not to engage themselves in the understanding and the gathering and the acquisition of certain information, because we chose to debase ourselves and turn our backs.
Facts. And what I like to point to is this. Again, I'm gonna put emphasis on that the place that they're talking about that we refer to as Armageddon, it's a place. You know what I'm saying? However, but this place is figurative also of a place in the future and a state of mind. Now let me explain what I mean by that. When we're talking about a mountain, we're talking about high places. We're talking about a state of mind. When we look at the Holy Quran of Mecca, you will see that the Holy Quran talks about fitna, talking about the struggle. You know what I'm saying? You will see when we talk about jihad. You know what I mean? And when you look at the place Armageddon, it talks about if the battle is going to be on a mountain. That's where they're going to meet. So when we're talking about on the spiritual realm, we're talking about in the heart of the mind. The highest point or the highest degree of understanding is where this battle is going to take place, or the heart of the mind, if you will. Now, let me say this. Let me say this. Not only does this says that in the book of Revelation, but it talks about it, not the term revelation, but it talks about this battle in high places, even in the Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It says that many foes will we encounter on the plane of things made manifest. And once we have solved them, we will go to more on the plane of soul. Brother Billy Dennermill, come on, brother. You my guest. Talk to the people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, now you're going into you're moving from the exoteric paradigm into the esoteric. And the esoteric is the inner meaning of when we read symbolic scriptures and things of that nature. They have an outer meaning and they have an inner meaning. And now you playing into the inner meaning. So when you're dealing with things like mountains and you're dealing with high points and pinnacles, like the ark settled on the mountain of Ararat and so on and so forth, you are dealing with the science of symbolically mind, thought. For instance, you just gave the allegory about the mountain. Here's the allegory. This is the same allegory when you're dealing with the science of Noah's Ark. The ark was just a symbol of the seed of man, the generative seed of the thought process. The ark itself, the highest pinnacle, is the thinking or the thought process. The highest level, the ark is the seed sitting on that highest pinnacle or sitting on the infinite thought. The animals in the ark no longer really exist because the ark is sitting at the high point and the animals was just representation of the lower nature of man being in that ark. You understand what I'm saying? So everything ties right back into the paradigm of self, because that's the first commandment. The first divine order that was given to us was, man, know thyself and thy Father God the Lord. That's the first commandment. That's the first commandment that our ancestors utilized in the pyramid schools. That's what Allah utilized on purpose in Surah 49:13 in the Holy Quran of Mecca. You see it, for verily I have made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. So he created nationality by making nations and tribes. And that's the saving power. That's that everlasting gospel. That's that saving power. You know what I'm saying? That we don't even really discuss and really know and understand. That when we look at Act 6 of our divine constitution and bylaws, we see that manifest as we look at I, the prophet. You understand? Right there, that is the mimic of the prophet, carrying out and living out those 7 divine laws in our constitution and bylaws. So when we look at our community and we ask ourselves, are we under a form of Armageddon? Well, of course we are. Of course we're under the wrath. Why are we under the wrath? Because we're still living in the semblance of black colored folks, Negroes and Ethiopians and what other names that may cater to abuses and mistreatments of our people. We still are living in those particular types of in that particular paradigm, and that's a problem, and that's a big problem. So we have to Islam.
No, you good, my brother. You good, my brother. Carry on.
Oh, okay. So we ask ourselves, not just as Moors or Moorish Americans, but we have to look at the whole holistic piece, which includes Asiatics as well as other members of humanity. You know what I'm saying? When we look at our prophet demonstrating holding a woman humanity, he had to place her down. You understand? Because humanity became a heavy load for one man to carry on his shoulders. So he placed her on the rock of salvation, a solid stone, a solid rock of salvation. When he was stepping on that.
Hold on. Check this out. Hey, Moses Yehudi, brother, stop being disrespectful in this chat, brother. You don't come to a YouTube chat and ask a sister, can you make love to them, brother? Are you insane? Are you really insane? Come on, my brother. This is not that other channel, brother. We trying to disseminate, trying to separate truth from falsehood. Brother, matter of fact, brother, you up out of here, brother. Come on, man. The civilized people don't conduct themselves like that, man. Block that guy. Get him out of here. Come on, my brother. Come on, Dinamel.
So,
I'm watching the chat at the same time, and this
yes, sir, brother.
building platform.
I understand, brother.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but that's insane.
Oh, no, it's fine.
That a brother would come into a chat and say something disrespectful to one of our queens on, you know what I mean? That's insane. But anyway, come on, my brother, let's go.
So yeah, brother. So the topic tonight is about Armageddon. Are we experiencing it? Are we undergoing it? And like I said, I have to say yes. Look at the condition of our people. Look, you just shared an experience right then. Look at the condition of our people. See, you know, when you living in a society where the divine has no place in it, or has been removed specifically and purposely and replaced with other deities and other false and strange idols and gods, then what do you expect to occur? You understand what I'm saying? Because the living deity, the living God, you know what I'm saying, provides moral living applications. In other words, you know what I'm saying, we have a pattern. And not saying that a book is a pattern or you need a book to follow a pattern, but the spirit of man is so far out of order that he needs a pattern today. Again, a whole nother pattern, because see, we've taken on the image of the author of white supremacy, and we've become better at executing white supremacy upon each other than the author themselves. So with that being stated, we have to re-educate ourselves, because you know what? The prophet said you have to learn to love. You have to learn. And not only do we have to learn to love, we have to learn to think. See, we don't think. We're great at reacting, but we don't think, brother. We haven't thought in a long time. And the prophet made a definitive, powerful statement when he said, if I could get you to think, you could save yourselves. And I'll always make this a very important piece, because the word thought has synonyms. And when the prophet said that, he was speaking much more deeply than just having a conscious thought process daily like we have daily. And we go through that particular struggle with the higher self and the lower self that we go through daily. That's the real jihad. That's the real jihad. But the prophet said, if I could get you to think, you could save yourselves. Now, you get a dictionary and you look up the word thought, and you look at the synonyms. A synonym is a word that means the same thing as another word, but spelled differently. So you look up the synonyms for the word thought, and you'll see words like meditation, words like contemplation. See, these are thought words. These are master words, because these words produce results. Meditation produces results. Contemplation produces results. And even man's conscious thinking based on his foe or his carnal nature, or that nature that sprang forth from fleshy things, even that makes decisions. Indeed. But what is the outcome when we are making decisions either in our high or in our low? So you have an environment that's totally surrounded and designed specifically to engage your lower self in the things that will make that carnal nature or that fleshy nature that sprang forth come to life. As you know, in chapter 1, that's the foe that we fight. Man must fight this foe so that he would become the will and strength of Allah made manifest, aka Muslim. See, Muslims ain't made. Muslims is made because a Muslim takes a shahada, but a Muslim ain't made.
Talk, bro.
It's a whole nother degree. See, the prophet gave us chambers, degrees, and heavens inside the Moorish Science Temple of America, but I don't think people understand, you know what I'm saying, what that means. What that means. So as we sit inside of an Armageddon or a hell, that's a hell. Our communities are hell. And a lot of the reason why our communities are hell is because we help create the hell in the community. Again, the community is designed in a certain way to attract a certain frequency and low-level energy. Poverty is a design. So we're fighting a systematic design. Everybody's worried about the European, the white man. Yo, that's the distraction. You getting in your own way with that is a distraction.
Exactly, brother. I want to add this. I'm watching the chat as you talk. Let me explain this, brother. I'm going to put in here, in this underneath of the description of this thing, I'm going to show you. I'm going to send a link on how you can proclaim your nationality. If you don't have a temple in your state, we're going to make it possible that you're able to do that. I hear you. We're going to keep the show moving, but now don't forget, if I can get it while my brother Denamil is talking, I'll put the link in the chat. You know what I mean? I'll put the link in the chat, and I'll also put the link in the description of this video where you can sign up to the virtual Moorish Science Temple of America. It's definitely after I come back from convention, we're going to be in full operation. Also, if you have a temple in your area, I'm going to direct you to that temple. Now, I'm not going to direct you to no foolery. You know, I'm going to direct you to responsible brothers or sisters, or brothers and sisters. I'm not going to direct you to no foolery. I'm telling you, I know where the foolery is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. But if you don't have one in your city, then you will be able to function under my virtual temple. Now, under my virtual temple, you will have all the same benefits and learning things that you will have in a regular temple. But the difference is this. In the virtual temple, you will have the ability to be taught from masters like Billy Denamil. You will have the ability, because I can bring him in through Skype and he can teach a lesson. You also will have the ability to be taught from brothers out of temples all around the country. Brother Prather L. You see, a brother like Eddington L. You'll be able to have a lot of brothers. You won't be just in one central location learning from the same people every day if you're part of the virtual temple. And the virtual Moorish Science Temple of America will be a temple for everybody. You know, but don't miss your meetings at your local temple. Don't do that. This is not a replacement for your local temple. This is for those who are unable to have temple service, Sunday school in their local area. But the thing about this is that this is going to be a building temple, meaning we're going to build you up. If you are in, like a friend of mine, he already signed up. He sent me his dues and everything from North Dakota, and I still got it. I haven't touched it or anything. He sent me his dues and everything from North Dakota. Now check this out. I am going to bring masters in, teachers in, to be able to teach him to how to open a meeting and teach a group of Moors in North Dakota. So before, within a short period of time, we'll be having Moorish missions, study groups, temples around the country. But we got to keep it tight. We got to keep it tight, and we got to be serious about our business. We got to be serious about our business. This is not going to be some willy-nilly. We get on a conference call and we chopping it up and throwing ideas. No, we're going to have every other week. We're going to have a progress meeting. See how far have we progressed. You know, we're going to keep it moving. So I just want to put that out there. But back to the topic, we're talking about, are we ready for Armageddon? Let's first talk about, to camelback off my brother Billy Denamil. When we begin to talk about Armageddon, let's deal with the inner first. Armageddon is said to be a place where the war between good and evil will take place. On this mountain. On this mountain. Now, let's look into the heart of the mind. Let's go into the world of fleshless things real quick. We know for a fact, as the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches the Moorish Americans, that there's two cells. Now, I don't care if we're on the spiritual level right now. Walk with me. And then we're going to talk about this physical level, how these Europeans are uniting on this physical level. But let's deal with the fleshless things real quick. You know, and I know that the Prophet Noble Ali teaches Moorish Americans that there are two selves, the higher self and the lower self.
Chapter 3.
Now, family, check it out. Whether you are a Moorish American or not, you know of your higher self and lower self. To what extent varies, but you know. You see, the Prophet Noble Ali doesn't give you something foreign to you. He gives you something that you can already identify with. You know, when you see that homeless person out there and that homeless person is beat down and it touches and pull on your heartstrings, you can call that a little bit of the higher self starting to activate. You want to do something. The charity in you wants to come out. That's that higher self. That's the higher self.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Check this out. The temple in Baltimore is right on Bel Air Road, brother. I got you, Elroy. So look, now when you see a person beat down, starving, downtrodden, and you can look at them and say explicit to them, that's that lower self jumping. When you can look at somebody just because they got a fez on, it doesn't matter whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Hebrew, whether you are Moor, or whatever you call yourself, whatever label you give yourself. And you can look at somebody, most importantly, somebody look at you and say, why is he wearing that dumb hat? Because I've heard that before. If you can do that, that's straight lower self. The prophet teaches us that the lower self breeds hatred, slander. Listen, I'm gonna say it slow. Then I'm gonna let my brother Billy come in. Hatred, slander, lewdness, theft, and the last one, which is many, everything that harms. Everything that harms. So if you have done those things, now when we're talking about everything that harms, we're talking about even harming somebody in thought. But let me tell you something. Don't let that make you passive. Because sometimes we must administer justice, and injustice, some people do get harmed. Those are two different things. That's another show. Now, the higher self breeds justice, mercy, love, and right.
In the harmonies of life.
Think about it. That's right. Justice, mercy, love, and right. Stop right there. And then, as my brother just so eloquently pointed out, and the harmonies of life. What is harmony? That means being in tune. Being in tune, being in harmony. That's what the higher self is. So I don't care what persuasion of philosophical life or religion or spirituality that you blend with, that the fact still remains that you have a higher self and a lower self. Now, as I pass it to my brother, throughout life, those things will be at variance with each other. They're going to be battling with each other. And the reason why it's going to be battling with each other is because those little struggles will refine who you are on the outside as well as on the inside. And you can call that the inner Armageddon. You can call that the inner jihad. You can call that the inner fitna. You can call that whatever you want, but no, struggle is ordained. And that's the inner. I'll let my brother touch on that for a minute, and then we're going to go to the outward bounds. We're going to go to the outward, and we're going to look at what these Europeans are doing to initiate an Armageddon against, I'm going to say against certain groups. I'm not even going to say against us in particular as Asiatics. I'm just saying all Asiatics. And it's all predicated upon their arrogance and survival. But let me let Brother Billy touch on that inner jihad and that inner Armageddon real quick before we go to the outer. My brother, it's on you, my brother.
Islam, well, I'm going to take that from the inner into the outer, because the inner jihad, all of those inner conflicts that we have, you know what I'm saying, and when they go unresolved, what happens is they begin to attract an outward manifestation of what is going on inside the person internally. So when the person is at war with his own self internally and don't really recognize that internal war, everything outside of him is at war. He don't even understand why he always got beef. He don't even understand why everywhere he go and look, somebody, he got a problem. Because in actuality, his problem is internal. And that's what's happening in our communities, brother. Many of us have an internal war that we're going through and don't even recognize it. So what happens is we're magnets by nature. We attract. Where we focus our concentration is what man develops, because thought is the cause of it all. So whatever we think, whatever we place our desired thoughts upon and focus our energy on, it is what we begin to gather. So if I'm always in a state of conflict, everything around me is going to be conflictual. So my community, when we look at our community, it's an outward show of an internal conflict in our people holistically. So we got work to do. And what happens is that internal conflict manifests itself in an outward manifest. And we see the results of that. I say it all the time. When we're looking at all of these different conflicts going on in America specifically, because I tell everybody, keep your eyes on America. Because what's going on is here for you. Don't pay attention to Barcelona in a van running somebody over. Pay attention to what's happening right here. Because there's a reason why you must pay attention to this. You understand? Because your livelihood depends on what occurs right here. Because it's all yours. You don't know that. But I'm telling you, officially, it belongs to you. So there's a system that wants to keep a certain thought process that's not even a thought process, that's actually really implants that another person has given you, and you have bought into the psychology. See, psyche is a Greek word and it means soul. So you're talking about the study of the soul when you're dealing with psychology. You're dealing with cats who study your soul. You're dealing with sorcery. You're dealing with high sorcerers who know how to operate on your soul. And they do it through different types of venues. So this inner war, and they use your community, they use your environment, they use all types of different methods to break that soul process. You understand? So what happens is this is why we had our prophet was given to us. An original historic phenomenon was the only thing that could break that soul spell. Something of an original historical phenomenon, something that was actual fact, not something that was made from the thought processes of our historical enemies. Because see, race is a social construct made by Europeans. The only people who can really stop racism is the European, because he made it up. That's his idea. You understand? So if you buy into his idea, then that's your God. So we move past that idea because we know and understand what the higher self is and what the lower self is. And that's what our job is to demonstrate the difference between the higher self and the lower self. And as the brother said, it all starts with the thought, because the words that come off your mouth are a manifestation of your thinking and what's on your heart. So when you hear people speaking wickedness and vileness and all that, that is what's on their heart. It's written on them. And when somebody tells you who they are and shows you who they are, brother, you best believe them when they show you. You can't tell them that they're somebody else when they showing you who they are. So when you look at it, brother, our war is all internal. And what's happening within our community actually can't be solved by nobody outside of it but us. But we got to recognize and identify that something is broken within us. You understand? And once we recognize it, then the fix can be solved. Because the fix is already solved. It's just a matter of time that the people recognize the tools used to fix the fix.
Facts. I think we living in a time now that, to echo what you said, the fix is actually solved. All we got to do is move in the direction. That's all we got to do is move in direction. One of the main problem is, and I'm telling you, I know what one of the main problems is a lack of thorough, responsible leadership. The Prophet probably he teaches us that man needs a pattern in his life, because man loves to follow, not to lead. And following is not a bad thing. It's just when you follow the wrong thing when it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? But man loves to follow, not to lead. You know what I'm saying? And so one of our main problems is the lack of responsible leadership. That's just what it is, you know. And I think
I totally agree.
With the proper leadership, people will learn which way to go. But everybody is running willy-nilly, and with this state of the internet and this state of social media, this one knows this, that one knows this, this one knows that. But at the end of the day, nothing is getting done. Nothing is getting done. Everybody is singing these beautiful songs, these beautiful hymns, but after the party is over, everybody goes home to their same condition. So that's why on Moorish World TV, brother, we need to create an environment that gives people something that they can build on when they go home. For example, we're talking about the inner Armageddon. If a person go home and do as you said in the beginning of this show about contemplating, meditating, thinking about the high and the low, you can actually get the lower self under control, and those energies that come from the lower self you can use for your benefit as opposed to your destruction.
That's right, and that's application, brother, because the whole reason I did that, and the whole reason I used the prophet's statement as if I could get you to think you could save yourself. The importance of that statement, the master words in that statement is thought and yourself are the master words. So, which is why I made reference to the synonyms of meditation, because that is the key. Remember, Jesus sat by the spring, the flowing spring, in meditation. There's a reason, there's a science behind meditation. You understand what I mean? And how do you think Jesus went back into the land of fleshless things? How do you think he took somebody back in the time of, or in the land of fleshless things with him? These are methods. These are the tools, just some of them. See, the prophet demonstrated something very powerful, which was Palestine, Kemet, and India, where these secrets were let loose from. But I take it a step further and would ask anyone, well, what are some of the other secrets that Palestine held from a spiritual paradigm, as well as Kemet, as well as India? And how do we place that into application? Because he made reference also to the Psalms of Guatemala and the Psalms and the Vesta and so on and so forth. All of these different philosophies. It's important that we understand that, because that is what makes what we do a little different from everybody else. Because there's truly a universal paradigm and flavor on our doctrine, on the Moorish expression of Islamism. Even though Islam may say it's universal, you can see that it's not. They favor prophets over other prophets, as well as other religions do. You know what I'm saying? But we honor all of them. All of them. And in the process, we honor man. And when we deal with the European, I mean, let's take a look at it for what it really is, brother. I got a different take on this a little bit, bro, as I'm taking a look at it, because, you know, thousands of years ago, the European tribes used to battle each other. They used to be at war. The Germanic tribes used to fight each other. The Anglo-Saxons, the Huns, and the Germanic tribes would go to war and all of that. When I looked at Charlottesville, that's what I saw. The Germanic tribes at war. And I said to myself, that's interesting, because honestly, they started the concept of racism. And honestly, they're the only ones who can fix it, because it's very ludicrous for the Europeans to come to my people, our people, and say, well, you know, you need to do something about racism. You guys are so racist. That's illogical. For the creator of racism to come to us and tell us we need to fix it.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? So that's their thing. And this is a time for us actually to probably unite and put some things together, because there's a shift taking place. When I looked at that, man, I found it a little like strange to see all of them Europeans on both sides of the fence slamming each other. It was shocking to me, Coach. I was shocked, because you just don't see things like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was funny, but there's a message in that. Because I say it all the time, there's no honor at the table when thieves sit at the table together. Thieves can't sit at the table together and expect loyalty and honesty to come out of the union. Somebody's gonna cheat. Somebody's gonna rob and steal. Somebody's gonna be unfair. So they can never sit down at the table and put something together against us, because it's gonna backfire. The only way we can be destroyed is how we're being destroyed, and is at the hand of each other. That's really it. Our problem is internal. And when we look at all of it, like I said earlier, all of these different things that's happening on the planet, all of these different conflicts, it's spiritual in its inception. And you're looking at things taking place in the ethers, and you're looking at it manifest in a physical form on the earthland. But it's being stirred in the ethers, because everything begins with a thought, and the thought is unseen, and thoughts travel. So if you can gauge a thought, and if you can empower a thought, and you can direct a thought, you can produce a result. And if you got a mass group or a mass number of people directing and pushing a thought, you can produce a result.
Right.
You got sorcerers at work, man. Where's our sorcerers? Who's pushing our thought besides the few of us that's pushing this thought?
I think what happens is this, Brother Billy, is that in order for our, if you will, sorcerers or our thoughts to be powerful, we have to be of a common end goal.
Exactly, brother.
We don't have to be literally, specifically, identically thinking alike, but we have to have the common end. You understand what I'm saying?
The common end goal. Exactly. And I don't care what walk of life you come from. I don't care what school of thought you come from. If we could all agree, number one, that we dying at a tremendous rate, and we're dying not only from an internal situation, but we're dying from external factors, then the outcome is to not die by any means necessary. That's not die. So I don't care if you believe in a rock. I don't care if you talk to trees. If you have the same outcome, is exactly, brother, if you can see the same end goal that I see, I don't have a problem.
That's
because
right.
I'm not really concerned with what you believe at that particular point, brother. That doesn't take any, that has no precedence.
And see,
I think we begin to use all of that, what you believe in stuff, because we really don't want freedom, brother. We really don't want to be free. We don't want to be accountable and responsible for what it's going to take to make this manifest itself.
And I wanted to add on with that, Billy. One of the things that that is the purpose that I'm doing this virtual temple. I'm not doing it because I want to sit somewhere. I'm a moving type of guy. I got to go out with the people. But the reason why I'm doing this virtual temple is so we can gather the masses. We have to get the masses. And what I mean by gather the masses, we have to get our thoughts in accord with one another. And as I said, the end game, we know there is no end, but when I'm speaking of the end game, we need resolution.
That's
and in order to do it, the prophet saying this electrified age, and that electrified age, that the terminology that the prophet used sticks out to me. He said, in this electrified age, men and women are running. He said they're racing through life. And I'm going to stop right there.
That was prophecy.
I look at the term of this electrified age as this day and time, as my brother just stated, not in 1920. I look at this electrified age that we must use this internet, we must use this social media, we must use it for our benefit to bring our people together collectively in thinking. And then we can build something. And then we can build something. See, first of all, if we don't build something to facilitate, it's like not even taking care of your body by talking about that you some type of wise man, but your body is beat up and broke down. If we don't build communities to facilitate schools, grocery stores, gardens, whatever, then we ain't doing nothing. And so we need to have a collective mind together and don't worry so much about everything falling apart. We need to worry more about pulling everything together. Let me read something real quick, my brother. I want to read from the Holy Quran and the Moorish Science Temple of America real quick, family. And I'm pretty sure my brother Billy will touch on this also. This is the Holy Quran and the Moorish Science Temple of America, family. Now, this book right here is a collection of if you will, a collection of writings that are ancient. These are not new writings. These are not something that the prophet pulled out of his own brain. No, this is a universal language and science that the prophet had enough brain to know what was set aside and kept away from us, and he put it together. And in the terms of what the prophet Noble Drew Ali states on the cover, it was divinely prepared. He prepared it like a man. Not authorized. Yeah, it was divinely prepared. He put it together. He knew exactly what you needed by the will of Allah to bring us up out of this condition. And that's what he said. He never claimed authorship. He said divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali. So let's get that out the way. So I'm going to have a reading real quick out of the Holy Quran, and I'm going to speak to the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. Since we're talking about Armageddon, and people think that Armageddon has something to do with the end of the world, that's not the case. It's the end of an era of time. It's a time of strife. It's a time of struggle. It's a time of things that are going to be seem like the end of time. But it's the birth of a new time. So this is what the prophet Noble Drew Ali says. Chapter 48, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was divinely prepared in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come. We are in it right now. We are in it right now. It says this. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation to prepare them to meet their divine, to receive their divine creed, which was to be taught by Jesus. And these modern days, listen closely, in these modern days there came a forerunner of Jesus, who was divinely prepared by the great God. In these modern days there came a forerunner of Jesus, who was divinely prepared by the great God, and his name was Marcus Garvey. I don't think that's correct, but I'm gonna check it in a second. Hold up, let me check it in a second. Where I get this? I don't know where I got that from. Let me go at it real quick. So this is what it says in mine. All right. In these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God. Yeah, somebody messed that up. Whoever I got this from messed it up, but it says in my Quran, this doesn't go here. What goes is, in these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name was Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth, to prepare them to meet their prophet, the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. Now, when we're talking about creed, we're not talking about a cultural dress. We're not talking about a cultural player. We're not talking about a cultural meal. We're talking about a creed here. And we'll talk about that in a second. And his name was Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by law to teach the old time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. Then I'm gonna go down. I want to go down towards the end. It says, we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the pale-skinned nation of Europe, neither serve their gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and the salvation of mankind on earth. Now, I wanted to read those two things, that this is the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecy. And basically, it's time for us to let the foolishness go and return back to the original idea, the original ideal that our forefathers laid before us before time immemorial. If we return to that, I think we'll be all right. I'll let my brother Billy expound upon that, because the prophet Noble Drew Ali said this is the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. What is the prophet saying from that?
It's long, brother. It's long, brother. Yeah, you know, when you look at the big picture about what you were stating, as far as the prophecies is concerned, one of the things that you mentioned was creed, and that's for me, you know, that's an important concept, because the prophet didn't just give us a creed; he gave us a divine creed. You see, and there's a difference between creed and divine creed, and then on top of there's all sorts of creeds. There's the Nicene Creed, there's the creed for this, and there's the creed for that, and the Boys Club, and everybody got a creed. You understand what I mean? And for us, the prophet demonstrated a divine creed, and we were to learn and be taught our divine creed. Now, first of all, the word divine means anything pertaining to or coming from Allah. That's what divine means. Anything pertaining to or coming from the Most High, coming from Allah, coming from the God, whatever, divine, holy, righteous, pure, so on and so forth. A creed is a tenet, a law, a principle, an idea, concept. So anything pertaining, any principle, idea, law, or tenet pertaining to or coming from Allah is divine creed. So the creed is anything pertaining to our deity. So when you look at the makeup of our Moorish science, the divine creed is our signs and our symbols, our Holy Quran Circle 7, our divine constitution and bylaws, our Moorish 101s, our flags. These are tenets, principles, and concepts, and so on and so forth that make up our divine creed. And all of those things I just named pertain or do come from Allah by way via our prophet or via Allah himself. So our divine creed is well endowed in Moorish science, because it's all divine creed. When you open up our Holy Quran Circle 7, it says divine instructions from the Holy Prophet on each page. So the instructions are divine. So all in itself, it has the ability to alter and change the heart and the makeup of an individual. But like the brother said, there has to be good leadership. These lessons have to be taught not only through the book and not only through Holy Day and Sunday school, but through example, man being the message that he says that he brings, that he is. He can show it, improve it, because our people are a show me people. This is how we get things. You understand? So there's work to do, and a good leader, as the prophet demonstrated, the good leader understands his Moorish material.
Right.
And utilizes it well, and sticks and confirms himself specifically to his Moorish information. Not saying that he shouldn't study other things, because that would be foolish, because a scientist is always studying. But a scientist knows when to put studies in different arenas and so on and so forth, and we're not to mix studies with those things that are pure already. See, some things don't have to be mixed up. Some things don't have to be touched and other things added and taken away. Some things don't have to work like that. Because honestly, I see Moorish science myself, with the Noble Drew Ali brought and demonstrated to us. I see that as the root of anything in this modern era that we call conscious, quote unquote, or dealing with those schools of thinking. The root. So it really has no bearing on if we're gonna succeed or fail, because failure is not an option for the soul. So success is inevitable, and we're gonna do great and wonderful things. But the key is, brother, the outcome, like you said earlier, the outcome. And when we can find that common goal and work towards that outcome, everything is going to be well. But in the process, we can't really think about the European and what he's doing, because that's a distraction to us. If we weren't about him, you know the old saying, brother. If I'm in your garden telling you how to clean your garden, I'm not cleaning mine, right?
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. So if we worried about him and worried about what he's doing, we can't take care of business. Because our focus, remember, your energy goes where your focus is. Wherever you focus is where the energy goes. So we expend a lot of energy. We just send off energy on things that have no bearing, no saving power for us at all.
But and more, that's the important effective leadership. Effective leadership. Effective leadership will allow those to observe, if you will, those who want to be detractors or distractors or provocateurs, and we have somebody allocated to that. You know what I'm saying? Then we have someone allocated to teach the lesson, and then we have someone allocated to building the community, and that's what and that's what we're missing in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Inshallah, Allah will allow the people to let me take my place in my community. You know, because the people choose the leader. I mean, the leader don't choose the people. It don't work like that.
That's true.
The people choose the leader.
Very true.
So in my community, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring people together in order to build something. As we're going to shift gear, because I think the Armageddon is pretty much what it is that, and I agree with Billy so much with that. I think a lot of times we give, if you will, Europeans or the opposition too much power when we begin to say what they're doing. And one of my things is always, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? One of my things is, what am I doing?
Right.
But before we get there, let me answer a few questions. Somebody asked the question, I think it was somebody in the chat named Chris. And the question was this: why do people get confused about Moors? If Moors, if Moor, quote unquote, refers to so-called black people, what is the confusion? So I'm gonna let my brother Billy build on that for a second, and then I'll take it from Billy and I'll build on it. You know, it says, why do people get confused about Moors? Question mark. If Moor, quote unquote, referred to so-called black people, what is the confusion?
The confusion, I think a lot of times the confusion is in the language, because, you know, we don't read much. We don't spend a lot of time, you know what I'm saying, doing research and things of that nature. We're easily distracted by, we like to be entertained. So a lot of times when you see the word, you know, or you hear words like more or other words, it may be a little uncomfortable for people who, you know, understand black. And I have no problem with a person wanting to call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. That's a choice that a person has to identify themselves and describe themselves as they want to describe themselves in this modern era of time. That's your right. But I think a lot of times it comes in a lot to do with language. And I think it has a lot to do with also, like back in the days when they went from colored to black. You had a lot of people who didn't want to be called black. They preferred colored. And then you had a lot of people who no longer liked colored and they wanted to be black, and so on and so forth. We went through this different times in different periods of our history on these shores. But I think a lot of it has to do with something being unfamiliar, and comfortability. Because again, when you know the truth, you have to become accountable and responsible to truth. You understand what I'm saying? And then you're put in such a place where you have to become active inside of the engaging of truth. So a lot of people want to not know the truth so they don't have to be responsible. I mean, for generations, you had a God outside of yourself and you had a devil outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you could blame when you robbed or stole something from the store. You could blame it on the devil. The devil made me do it. You know what I'm saying? You could do that. But today you can't, because we understand that dogma. And it's pretty much, that's just pretty much it with me, brother. I just believe that a lot of times it just has a lot to do with the words and to where our thoughts are and the conditioning of our people, man. You know, nationality is foreign to us. It's very foreign to our people, man.
Facts. And I'll add on to that. And I'm gonna give you a little presentation real quick, Chris. And I'm gonna read it again. The question is, why do people get confused about Moors? If Moor refers to so-called black people, what is the confusion? Well, in actuality, there is a lot of confusion, because the word or the term Moor has been manipulated to mean black, when that's not what it means.
Yep.
That's first.
Exactly.
So here's the confusion. Moors do not want to be considered a label that was placed on us by our former slave master, if you will. We don't want to accept that label. It would be like a Chinese man or woman accepting a label that they're yellow people. Now, how many Chinese people that you've been around, you say, look at them yellow people. Now, remember, European placed a label on Chinese people too, or if you want, quote unquote, Orientals. He called them yellow people. They never accepted it. Now, on the people of Mexico, our people, that's descendants of the Olmecs, they placed a label on them and called them brown people. You have some of them in today's time falling into the trap and yelling brown pride. But they fell into the trap too, you see. So now check this out. When you look at the term Moor, you see, even my brother Nagas, with all due respect, he said a black Moor equals a black Muslim. That's a descriptive term placed on us by Europeans. That exactly. Was not the original term. And now I'm going to do a quick wiki search. And the reason why I'm going to do a quick wiki search is because I'm freestyling it. But I'm going to do a quick wiki search, and I'm going to show you how you can connect the dots. I'm going to show you how you can connect the dots. Let me screenshot and do a quick wiki search. And I'm going to show you what I just pulled up. Now, you know, wiki doesn't qualify nothing, but it can start you on your journey. So now listen here. When you look right here, I'm looking up the term Moor. You follow me? I'm looking up the term Moors. But now this is how the European, whoever put this in here, now we know anybody can put in data into, but now let's look at etymology, what the people put in here. During the classical period, the Romans interact with and later conquered parts of Mauritania. Remember that word, Mauritania, a state that is covered by modern northern Morocco. Listen, family, the prophet said we are descendants from Moroccans and born in America. He didn't say Morocco, he said Moroccans. It was a place where Morocco is called Mauritania in the old days. Western Algeria and the Spanish cities of Ceuta and Melilla. The Berber tribes, we're not even going to get into that. That's another conversation about the Berber tribes of the region were noted in classical literature as Moorish. That's the trick right there. In ancient times, before the European came to that area, which is Morocco, these people were calling themselves the Moorish people. which was subsequently rendered as Moors in English. Now let me stop it right there and let me send you on your search. When you look at the term Maori, when people walked up on, the Europeans came to that era, to that area, and they, you know how nice we are. We took them in, we talked to them people, and they understood that we called ourselves the Maori people. They begin to paint the whole continent with a wide brush and calling everybody with a dark olive complexion Moors.
Yep.
That terminology actually was brought with us as we migrated from the land of Kemet. The Prophet Ali says that we were given permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in the area which is now Morocco. You follow what I'm saying, people? So when the people left, that terminology was taken with us. It was taken with us. And when the European came up and somehow we were able to communicate, he took the term Moor and painted the whole continent. Now, somebody, Sun God said the Arabs are the Moors. That's not true, brother. The Arabs are the Arabs. The Arabs are the Arabs. But let me tell you this, the original Arabs come out of the same bloodline as our people. Because if you study the work of Dr. Wesley Muhammad, you will see where he talks about the quote unquote, the black Arab. But
yeah, Black Arabia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. So when you look at the people that initially, I'm going to say this and I'm going to let my brother Billy take it. When you look at the people that initially went into Spain, they were people. Matter of fact, I'm doing a lecture on it right now and I'm putting it together. It's called From Africa to Spain to America. From Africa to Spain to America. And I'm showing that the Moors that went into Spain initially came straight from Mauritania, which we know today as Morocco. They came straight from there. Now what happened is the Johnny come lately pale Arab or the high yellow Arab, he came in because he seen opportunity. But he didn't start the conquest. He did not start the conquest. You understand? So family, we have to do a critical analysis on the terms like Moor. Moor, it does not mean black. That's just like a European telling you that you are black, but you're not a nigger, when it means the same exact thing. But you fall for the term black, but you won't accept the term nigger. That's, see how insane we are? We will not accept the term nigger, but we accept the term black. And then you want to superimpose and say Moor means black. Nah, cypher. Come on, my brother Billy.
Well, yeah, brother, again, very well stated. You know what I'm saying? But, in this day and time, brother, in this electrified age, as you mentioned, a lot of questions don't even need to be answered because a lot of times people ask questions, they already know the answers. A lot of times they just seeking to do whatever they want to do because it's very easy to type in more. But again, like I said earlier, sometimes maybe our people don't read. Maybe we don't want to study. And and I've ran into that type of energy.
But the thing is,
that type of individual who
I gotta say this. These videos go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. And just because the person may saying it because they already
that's true, brother.
May have one
you right.
does not know. And the thing is,
you right.
we can't assume that everybody has this information because I'm gonna tell you what, when a person first told me I wasn't black, man, I thought he had lost his mind. I thought he had lost.
Well,
insane. This man is this, and then he had the nerve to tell me that this was a prophet. Oh no, you really done gone crazy now, man. Y'all better go. Y'all better go ahead with that. Know what I mean? And so,
and that's true, brother. And I stand, and I definitely stand stand corrected, because sometimes, you know, when on these on these sites, I tend to negate at times that we're utilizing these sites to spread information, so it will go to thousands and thousands of people. I'll be thinking, I'm an older cat, so I'll be thinking like I'm in the moment, dealing with this space and time right here. Right, exactly, exactly, brother. So I'll be approaching. So I'll be trying to approach the ignorance on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Which is why, but that's a different. I thank you for, you know, bringing me back to that fact that this is reaching millions and millions of, you know, thousands of people. That's beautiful. So my thing is, again, the whole issue of nationality is foreign to our people, because it's something that we haven't experienced in a way in which we were supposed to. Even the great Marcus Garvey said it way back in the 20s. He said the Negro needs a nationality. The Negro needs a conquering Muhammad to bring him a Quran of good welfare and intelligent and economic thinking of something of that nature. Oh, where is that Muhammad? So even at that particular time, Garvey was calling out in symbolic reference to Noble Drew Ali, leading the people right to the Prophet with those statements. So when the Prophet popped on the scene, it was easy for that transition to take place. And what the Prophet laid down is one of the greatest communal methods of economic spirituality, morality. But again, throughout the years, the leadership duped some of its people and tried to hide things away and put things away, but truth can never change or pass away. And these things have regurgitated themselves and came back out of the dismal crypts of bad leadership. And now it's manifesting itself in the form of good spirits that have came back in this fourth and fifth generation. See, we deal with science. The Prophet said the people who were with me 2,000 years ago are with me today. It's that ain't changed. That hasn't changed. You know what I'm saying? So the whole Moorish paradigm is a new thing. The Prophet said in the year 2000, the Moors will begin to come into their own. So we're in the year 2017. So we 17 years into the game. And the doors is just beginning to widen, where people see it took a period of time for us to season them to the Prophet, into Moorish science. And now it's beginning to take off the way it's supposed to. Everything is on time. It may not be on our time, but everything is on time. And we're sitting inside of the fulfillment of a prophecy, and we should be honored to be a part of this fulfilling, because we're a part of it. Exactly. So in the process, I believe that what we should be doing, brother, is what you've definitely been stating, is unification, is to begin to build on the science of nation building, which includes economic and financial literacy, which includes us as Moorish Americans, Asiatics, Muslims, whatever, working together, bringing the talents and skills that you have from your innate works, as well as the talent and skills that you may have been certified in, that you have made it to school for. Bring those talents and skills together and let's form and create. Not everybody is going to be a historian. Not everybody's going to be a divine minister. Not everybody is going to be the one who knows all the information. We need scientists and farmers. We need doctors. We need engineers. We know what I'm saying? We need painters. We need the works.
And I want to add.
We need it all. So we just need everybody to come in and get in where you fit in and bring your talents, and don't cross the gray line. If you're a plumber, don't try to do electricity work. Do the plumber work. That's all.
And I want to add to that. I want to add to this. Listen, family, listen. Nationality is very important. Nationality is the golden thread, if you will. It's the super glue that glues people together in order that the state of mind is one, in order to move
I agree.
in a direction together. That's what nationality does. I'm telling you. Now listen,
totally agree.
I want y'all to watch this real close. I want you to watch this real close. Now, family, I want to tell you that I'm only using Wiki because it's fast. It's not that I'm using it to teach you and say that Wiki is 1000% accurate. It's fast. It's the first thing that pops up. But from this, you can begin to do your research. I would challenge anybody in this chat room right now. Anybody in the chat room right now. I'm going to screenshot this. Family, if you think the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was playing, I'm going to screenshot this for you. I don't know if this all the people in the world, but this is supposed to be a list of people by nationality. Now, when I ask you a question, there is no black in here. None. None.
Yeah, that's a good list, brother. I've seen that list before. That's a great list.
Now listen. So a person might say, well, I don't see Moorish. Well,
it's there.
Remember, the Prophet made the connection. We are descendants from what? Moroccans and born in America. Here's the connection. And Morocco grew out of Mauritanians. Here's the connection. Here's the link. But I ask you, I truly ask you, because in our books, it teaches us, and the common sense will teach us. Why am I a Moorish American? Because I'm a descendant of Moroccans and born in America, not Morocco. There's a difference. There's a science behind this. Morocco was born out of Mauritania. But now I ask you, find black in here and make the connection anywhere. I just made a connection with Moorish. Find black. One thing, black don't exist. Number two, make the connection.
Nationality is the order of the day.
Make the connection. And now number three, I don't see Africa in here as a nationality. Let's start with A.
It can't be, brother. It's a continent.
Albanians, Algerians, Americans, Adrians, Angolians, Antiguans, Argentinians, Armenians, Arubans, Australians, Austrians, Azerbaijans, whatever. No Africa. Why? Why?
Africa's a continent, brother. It's a continent with 54 countries in it. That's why it's not on there. It's a continent. This is what I be trying to tell our people, man. You can't be an African and an American. Those are continents.
So
basic geography should teach you that. So nationality is the order of the day. Brother Taharka Bey is right and exact. Our prophet was right and exact. You know what I'm saying? And nationality is the order of the day. And if you, and you know, that's the only salvation for our people.
Now, one
period. You can say.
I'm sorry, my brother. My apology. One of the questions that somebody asked, well, what about Black or Moor? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make
Black or Moor was a no. It doesn't make sense because it was a derogatory term. It was a derogatory term. How you gonna be a description and then how you gonna be an adjective and a noun at the same time?
Okay, exactly.
How you gonna be a description and an identity at the same time?
Exactly. So I mean, it's a ridiculous, it's an oxymoronic term. You know what I mean?
Of course it is.
It's just like calling a dog a cat. Man, you know, I just seen a dog a cat.
Right. Right.
I just seen a dog a cat. You would look at me and say, what? Yeah, a dog a cat. It just ran down the street. But the European plays these games. The European plays these games. And so definitely what nationality does, people, for real, listen to me. What nationality does is the same thing. Nationality is not a magic wand. Let's get that out the way. It's not some magic potion of ideals that changes everything overnight. It's not what nationality is. Proclaiming your nationality is saying that you are making an alliance or an allegiance to a group, a certain thought, a certain perspective, and you want to move in that direction, for the lack of a better term. You are making an allegiance
to a nation.
There you go, Billy. Go ahead.
Pretty much. That's what it is. Nationality is a person proclaiming their allegiance to their forefathers and their foremothers, claiming their allegiance back to their deity. Because see, you got to understand, nationality comes from Allah. Allah made nations and tribes so that we would know one another. So nationality comes from the Creator. So when you look at the condition of our people and you wonder why nationality and creed was stripped away, because when you strip away nationality and your creed or your divine creed, you stripped away your purpose, you stripped away your deity and knowing your purpose, because Allah made nations and tribes and the European made black colors and Negroes. So when your nationality was stripped away in 1774, along with your divine creed, the only thing that was left was a spirit, a soul, and a body with no national origin and with no divinity. In other words, this soul, spirit, body had no point of reference, don't know where it comes from, don't know who it belongs to, and doesn't know its purpose. And that was the science of stripping away nationality from you. Because when you stripped away nationality, I stripped away your deity. I stripped away your purpose. I stripped away your active principles when I took away your nationality from you. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that was about. And nationality ties right back to your deity, to your God. God is a national God. Every nation has a God that looks like them except for us. What's our problem, fam? Everybody got one that look just like them. But when we have one that look like us, we want to reject it because we've been so socially engineered and conditioned to hate us and not to know thyself. See, that's Armageddon. That's the wrath, bruh. That type of process. And that's what we living in. We living in the days of Armageddon. We living in it. And we're consistently executing it on ourselves. So when they remove the nationality, and like I said, the divine creed and nationality, those 5 pieces, nationality, divine creed gone, and leave you with 3 pieces, that could be simplest of the 3/5 of man. Because the 5/5 is a whole. 3/5 is an improper fraction. It's not even a whole human being. So maybe because divine creed and nationality was stripped away from that spirit, that soul, that body, that nationality and divine creed, strip those 2, and you just got that body with that soul and that spirit. That spirit has a cultural amnesia put on it, brother. It has an amnesia put on it. That's why it couldn't remember. And that's why we have an original historic phenomenon known as Noble Drew Ali, our holy and divine prophet, who came back to remove the cultural amnesia from you and to remind you of who you were, to make you remember. Islam.
And I want to share this with the family real quick. And I'm telling you, I'm proselytized. I'm telling you, because we need to come together. You know what I mean? Time is at hand, and this is our time. And this is the time that we will be successful at it. So let me share this. Let me screen share real quick. I want to share something before we get out of here. I'm going to go about 10 more minutes.
Yeah, I was about to tell you, brother, I have to depart, brother.
Okay, brother, you can close out, and I'll share a few more things with the family real quick. Go ahead, my brother.
Okay.
Any closing words?
Yes, sir. I like to say, first of all, I like to say peace and divine love to everyone who was on the chat. And thank you to the brother Taharka Bey for giving me the opportunity to be here with you tonight, just to talk and to build and to share. This is a great brother. This is a great platform. He's doing wonderful things with the platform. I hope that he continues to do wonderful things with the platforms. And I would love to aid the brother in other ideas and other situations and circumstances, whatever. This is my brother. We're all brothers and sisters, regardless of what your affiliation is, what your group is, or who you belong to. I still can work with you. You're still my people. We still each other's people. We all we got. And this is what we have to live by and understand. That right there is the uniting. We all we got. We all we got. When it's all said and done, it's just going to be us. It's us. We all we got. Regardless of all of those other things that's happening, let's put that to the side and let's love each other. Love is a force. Right. Love can unite. It can create. It can destroy. It can bind. So let's love. You understand? And let that love be that driving force that gives us the strength and the ability to alter and change our community overnight. by altering first and changing ourselves overnight. Peace and love, brother.
Peace and love,
Islam.
my brother. Peace and love. Islam. So, family, I'm going to carry
Thank you, brother.
I'm not, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. We're going to do this again real soon. So, family, I want to just share something because somebody mentioned about, first of all, somebody mentioned about, he said 3/5 of a man. What he's talking about is that we're missing the nationality component to make us a whole person or nation of people. We're missing that component. So we're 3/5. I get that. I mean, but let me say this. Let me say this real quick. I wanted to share. I was reading the chat while my brother was talking, and somebody said, you know, my ancestors was born here, and I agree. I think mine was too. I got footage of my grandmother who passed away at 93, between 93 and 94, and I believe that I am descendant from the Moors that was already here. And due to the conversation that I had with my grandmother, maybe one day I'll show the footage. Due to one day that I had with conversation I had with my grandmother that passed away a few years ago at the age, I think it was 94. And I was asked her, and I recorded it. I asked her, do she remember how far can she go back? And my grandmother, mine was pretty sharp. And my grandmother could not remember anything further back than Virginia. And we're talking about great grandmothers. She just remembered Virginia. You know what I mean? Or the area known as Virginia. And a great grandfather coming from the islands. So, you know, I don't believe I came on a ship either, but let me explain something to you. When you look at the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings, and he says that the Moors are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. We have to remember what we're talking about. When we're talking about the northwest, we're talking about right here, northwest, southwestern shores of Africa. But when we really get technical, the prophet said there was a great earthquake that created, which we know as today, the Atlantic Ocean. This is what the prophet teaches in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And as you can see this map that I'm showing, I have a sample where all the continents come together like a puzzle. So if, for example, let me see if I can write something real quick. If, for example, let me see if I can try to write something. If, for example, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that the Moors migrated from this area, over this area, and migrated over here. We was given permission to inhabit this land over here. Could it be quite possible that not only what we see of northwest and southwestern shores of Africa right here, before the continental divide, people migrated over here, which is North, South, and Central America also? Remember that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches that the Moors are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwest and the southwestern shores of Africa. Could it be quite possible that millions and millions of years ago we migrated and already traversed on this landmass, which we call North America, before the continental divide? That way, when the European come up, what's his name? One of the explorers said that when he walked up on the shores, that the people remind him of the people of Ethiopia, and he was talking about complexion, that they remind him of the people of Ethiopia. So these are all the same people. That's the point. That's the point. And so when the brother Black Conscious Fraud say he wanted his rightful nationality as indigenous American, there's not a such thing as an indigenous American, because before the terminology of indigenous is not relative to a nation. I mean, if you want to be indigenous American, what that will do is it will give you some benefits that's controlled by the American government. But if you want a nationality that is set forth to build a nation, then there it is. There it is. If you know what I mean, nationality is predicated upon nation. So if you say you are indigenous American, you may as well get the watered down version. And I'm just saying the watered down version of the so-called Indian, which they call the Indian, the red guy, if you will. That's what the European then labeled him. He accepts it. He accepts it. But those are not the original people of this landmass. They are not the people that you're looking at. Those are the people that came across the Iberian Peninsula. I mean, the what they would call the ice bridge, if you will. The Eskimo-looking type, and then a lot of them are mixed. A lot of them are mixed. A lot of them are mixed. You know what I mean? Unc is going to get you pseudo statement. I want to know where the statement is. I'm just saying it makes sense. I'm just saying it makes sense. You know, that people was already here. And the question is, how did they get here? We got evidence that people traveled. Moors were seafarers. But even in their diaries, they said people were here. People were here. Where did they come from? So anybody can call it. See, one thing about when you're dealing with a prophet, the information got to catch up with the prophet. The prophet don't have to catch up with the information. So either you're going to believe it or you're not. Either you're going to believe it or you're not. You see what I'm saying? Now, the thing is that if you understand who we are, then let's move forward. If you don't get that, that's who we are, then let's move forward. Because at the end of the day, the boot is on all of our neck. It is what it is. The boot is on all of our neck. And it's up to us to come together and get the boot off. Now, you don't have to believe that people were already here in what we call Americans today. You don't have to believe that. I'm not going to force you to believe that. I'm not going to argue or debate with Unc about that. I'm not going to argue or debate with anybody about that. You know what I mean? But what I will do is bring the people together and say, man, under nationality, we can accomplish the same thing that Italians, Americans have accomplished and more. The same thing that any other nationality that came to this country have accomplished and more. It is what it is. The way I put it is so you really think this land was empty prior to the Asia coming down? No. It was people here, brother. I just told you. These people been here for millions of years. I don't care if they got traces of them or not. These people been here. We already been here. Our people been here before any Asian thought about coming over here. We've been here. This is ours. You know, we've been here. You know what I mean? We don't we've been here. You know, we've been here. And so we can't. But the point of the matter is that doesn't give us any rights above anybody else due to the fact we don't have any unity. We don't have any unity. So I'm asking everybody, man, get with me. Get with me. Let's change this thing in the next 5 years. I ain't say tomorrow. Let's change this thing in the next 5 years. Man, shout out to my brother Ishmael Bey. It's my guy, man. It's my guy. Shout out to Ishmael Bey, man, in the building. PB Moore Bey, absolutely, Dr. York. Absolutely, Dr. York, I can say, have claimed Moorish nationality. I actually have the video. Matter of fact, let me bring up the video. Dr. York. If y'all can wait for me, I got the video where Dr. York tells his followers to proclaim Moorish nationality. You know, I actually got the video. Let me see if I can find it real quick. If I can find it, let me see. I can't find it right now, but I do have a video where Dr. York is speaking and he's telling all of his followers to claim. Oh, I got it. I know what it's under. Let me see. New Y. I think it's under New Y. He's telling all his followers. Here we go. I'm about to bring it up right now. Stand by. All right, y'all ready? Somebody asked, did Dr. York claim Moorish nationality? All right, here we go, family. I want y'all to pay attention to this, and then we're going to get out of here unless we got some more questions. Hold up. Check it out. This is Dr. York.
Hell they are. When you walk up to Puerto Rico and say, what are you? Say Puerto Rico. Say, no, you ain't. You're not a Puerto Rico. What are you? You're more. If I'm saying I'm from Dominican Republic, you're not a Dominican Republic. You're more. Cuba's a place, not a people. And no, I'm Cuban. Don't let them fall for that crap. Stop, strip back all the names and keep saying more. And then we become the majority. And according to their system, the majority rules. So if all the Latinos, Asians, Nubians, as you want, whatever, come together and say we are all Moors, what happens? We control things. Now, you can be a Moor, brother, and say, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Jesus is Lord and Savior. Jesus is Lord and Savior. Shalom Leka. Shalom Leka. Neturu. Neturu. Odabo. Odabo. You know what I'm saying? Anything that makes you feel happy. But your nationality first. Because when they weigh us in this country, they weigh us blacks against Caucasians, right? But if I stop to raise my hand and say, excuse me, sir, you're not mean, man, but the bottom of my heart, excuse me, sir. Just what nationality is Clinton? I want to break that down. I like Clinton. Now, what nationality is? He's Irish. Let's separate him over here. You follow? Let's go to Cuomo in New York. He's Italian. And let's go to Koch. He's Jewish. If I'm saying, so I start taking them, when they got white, I start taking them and breaking it down like this: Irish, Polish, Scottish, Jewish, French, German, Italian, Swedish. Don't be afraid. Huh? Russian, what? Polish. Yugoslavian. Okay. Go back to one. Yugoslavian. However, they say we are all Negroes. They don't want to recognize that if a person comes over here from Trinidad, that he's a Trinidadian. The moment he gets over here, he becomes a Negro. My brother's from Cuba, and he's dark skinned right away he is. Everybody who speaks Spanish is Latino to them. They don't care whether you're from the Dominican Republic. You speak Spanish, you're Latino. Correct? And he said, excuse me, sir, I'm not Latin. Because Latins are Romans, and I'm not a Roman. If I was there, you back him in his tracks. Person says, excuse me, I'm not a Trinidadian. I'm not Three Mountains. You know what I'm saying? What will happen when we do to them what they have been doing to us in reverse? Will the man that they present, the man on television or the woman on television that commits the heinous crime, that they put first their nationality? Because unfortunately, because we're calling them all look-alike, if a crime is committed, they put you on television and say, well, a nigga did it. They don't say a Cuban did it. You know what I'm saying? It's a nigga did it. But when Caucasians do that, there's no way to log it. I want to be able to say, okay, an Irishman is doing a full grab that store. Jew just burned up that building. What was his name? Burned up the government building.
So that real quick, family, is Dr. York demonstrating the importance of nationality. Nationality is super important, you know, and that's coming a time that we got to come together under the auspice of nationality in order to get something done. We must think alike. We must move in the direction alike. And I don't mean that we're going to think specifically alike to everything about everything. That's ridiculous in the least. But we need to move in the direction of nationality to get something done. When we calling ourselves black, it's such an ambiguous term that we are not going to get anything done. All black people don't think alike. It's ambiguous. Yes. Am I going to post? I just put the link in under. If you look down on the bottom, it's a virtual temple link. And I will assist all those who want to proclaim their nationality, but we're not moving forward until after I come back from convention. If the convention is September 50th to the 15th through the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. When I come back from convention, then we're going to get on deck. So I ask everybody, look at the link below. It's under virtual temple link. You can hit that link. You can sign up for those who want to join the virtual temple. And we're going to organize. And all of those throughout the United States that wish to organize and wish to build something on the ground. And I'm not talking about debating on YouTube. I'm not doing any of that. You know what I'm saying? I might. But within the settings of the virtual temple, we're going to keep it holy and divine according to the teachers of the Prophet Noble Drali, and we are going to build something. We are going to build something. Within a year's time, those who step on the, if you want to use step out on faith, confidence, whatever. If you want to build something, then we got to do it together. And if you have any doubt, don't sign up. Don't sign up. See, I don't see it. It's in the comment section. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it right there, right into the chat right now. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. The link will be in the chat in 1 second. 1 second. Here we go. I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now. That way, if anybody wants to sign up, it's in the chat, but it's also going to be in the comment, not in the comment section, but in the description section. Like I don't really have the time to go back and forth with people. You know what I mean? If those don't want to move forward and build a community, you know what I mean? If those don't want to move forward, pool our resources together to build something on the ground. I mean, hey, it's fine with me, you know, but I don't need many. I just need a few that think their conditions can be better. I don't need many, you know. We can start the prototype or the model here in Baltimore. And if you can get enough people in your city, I will come there and we can start building right there in each city. And we'll make the connection. We'll be everywhere like McDonald's. Moorish Science Temple of America's building. And we're ushering into a new Moorish American. Now, what I mean a new Moorish American, we're talking about one that knows how to navigate through society and not walk around with the stigma as a cult. The new Moorish American. You know, the new Moorish American is that brother or that sister that can go in any circle and be themselves and not try to fit in. Just be yourself. You know, if anybody wants the information, they can't get it here. You can email me at taharkabay@yahoo.com. You can email me at taharkabay@yahoo.com. And like I said, family, have a little patience because I don't have a little patience because I don't. Hey, Ray, ask the brothers in NY about the. Nah, I'll leave that alone. But I don't have a lot of time to put things together in a way that I can connect right now because I'm so busy working towards going to the convention this year. So after convention over, yeah, it's full speed ahead. It's full speed ahead. You know, it is what it is. Computer networking, Pereira, and script coding is what the community needs. And that's another thing. We need people with skills. Hopefully, all of those that come in either want a skill or have a marketable skill so we can build. We need to fast track our neighborhood. And when I say our neighborhood, I'm talking about our neighborhood of people who think alike. We need to fast track it. We can't play no more. We have to fast track it. We need those who has confidence. You know what I mean? Bottom line, y'all got to do the work to get the knowledge. We can't answer all y'all questions. You got to seek it for yourself. But Black Light, we're going to do our best, Black Light. But the thing is, we have to fast track where we're trying to go. Within a short amount of time, we'll be able to accomplish a lot. We've seen many people do it. We have many examples. The most recent example is how the Mexicans have done it. You don't see Mexicans cutting grass like they used to 10, 20 years ago. You don't see that. People talk about Mexicans taking all the jobs. They done took the jobs. Guess why? Because now you're talking they 2 generations, 3 generations in. 2, 3 generations in. So Grand Mufti, we need unity, absolutely, brother. But we need you to sign up too, brother. So you can do your part in your neighborhood. I wish money for more is in here. I got his number. I'm going to call him soon. All of those who think that condition can be better, I'm asking y'all to join me, man. We're going to get this done. And within the next 2 years, look, we got to think long haul. But I'm telling you, by the end of the year, we're going to have things set up in such a way that we'll be able to move throughout the country and set up businesses to be able to finance the things that we need to do. So we need business people. We need those who know how to write grants. We need those. We're not asking for no 501c3 money. We don't want that. You know what I mean? Moorish Science Temple of America, virtual MSCFA virtual temple is not a 501c3. We want to build businesses like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. And if people want to donate, then we accept that. But we want to build. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? We need those that's going to motivate and inspire, and not those that's going to cause confusion. And family, I implore you to go to the link, and look at that. I see that. We're not going to talk. We're not doing that. We're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Let me